Have you ever noticed that someone who succeed again and keep on succeeding again and again? And on the other hand, someone fails in something and then he fails again and again and again. It's one of the paradox or the mysteries of life, that once you know the formula to succeed, you keep on repeating and repeating and repeating. Welcome viewers to the 14th episode of the Property Investors Network, a show where we discuss and learn how to invest in property in Africa in 10 minutes or so. This is your host, Itaka. Thank you so much for watching. Today we are discussing and rather continuing discussing the topic getting started in the rental property business. Getting started in property. Before we enter into today's discussion, I just want to recap on the previous episodes and also to highlight certain points that I mentioned. In the previous episode, I mentioned that you have to manage your property as a business. It's very important. Also, on that issue, I also want to highlight that when you look at your property as a business, you look with different eyes. For example, if you are purchasing a property for your own self, you look for a property that suits your needs. Does this suit my needs? The number of bedrooms, the color, the location. But when you are doing it for business, it's not about you. You choose a property that meets your business objectives. In other words, you may not like the color pink, but if the market likes the color pink, you go for the color pink because it's all about the market and the business. It's not about you. And also, one other issue to just point out around managing your property as a business, there's this word that I always hear going around, that hustling, hustling. Hustling, from what I've discovered, it means you're pushing hard. You do anything for money. It's money now or nothing. When you're going to property, it's not about hustling. Property is about strategy. It's about planning, looking 6 months, 1 year, 10 years, 20 years. So the ideal hustling in property doesn't really work, because in property, it's about strategy. It's a long term. You don't just go about doing anything. You've got to plan, think, and then make a move. And also, I've noticed that when people are engaging in property business, there's what I call, or rather referred as, the homeboy business type of, when you're doing business, property business, you find your young brother or your relative, just do this for me and I'll pay you. When it comes to business, don't subscribe to homeboy business. When it's business, we do strictly business. In other words, we separate business and family, because business decisions are based on business objective. If I want to hire someone, I get the person who is so good at that, so that I'll reach my objective. If that person happens to be a family member, it's okay, but it does not have to be a family member. But most people have discovered they start up a business and then they put it all their friends or their relatives, and all these people, they have no skills, they have no experience. They come and then at the end you see the business or the project doesn't take off well. So beware of homeboy business. It will kill your business. But rather use professionals, use people who are experienced, use people who help you to reach your objectives. I also mentioned on the second point that you need to develop your property strategy. Number 3, I also mentioned that select a location or a zone that you want to focus on, and then you focus on that particular area. Number 4, I also mentioned that you need to do lots of research. Research your target market, your target investment area. You need to do proper research. It is said that when it comes to research, garbage in, garbage out. So the quality of your research will determine the quality of decision that you make. Better the research, the better the decision you will make. And number 5, I also mentioned that remember the 2 aims in property. Capital growth, that is the value of growth of the property, versus cash flow, the money that you receive probably every month. So those 2, which one are you targeting? Sometimes you balance the 2. Sometimes you say, no, I don't really care about the property gaining value, but I want my money, I want cash flow. Someone can say, no, cash flow, I'm not interested. I just want the value area that I appreciate. So those are the things that are the dynamics in terms of property that you find. Now today we are continuing on point number 6. Do the financial calculations. I'll repeat again, do the financial calculations. Do them before you procure the property. Do them during the procurement of the property and after procuring property. And see if it makes business sense. So in other words, you could continue with your calculation throughout the deal and after the deal. Also on that financial calculation, remember, if you are going to go buy a property and there's some maintenance or renovations rather that needs to be done, please include that as part of your calculation. If you need to paint the house before someone get in, all those repairs that needs to be done on the building, please take note of them. And in terms of your costs, remember maintenance costs that happens now and then. Probably put in a figure for maintenance, and also the loan repayment. If you're taking a loan or a bond, you're going to pay every month. So you're going to have that one. Also insurance, we'll talk about it later, and also your rates and also your taxes. There's also levies. If it's in a village, secure village, there's also levy. So there's a number of costs that goes into your calculations. So make sure you put them in and you are happy with the output. Like I said, the output doesn't have to be positive. Sometimes people accept a negative and they have to pay a bit in terms of their bonds or their cost to a property, and to a certain point they come to be positive. So do your calculations and make sure you're happy with your calculations. Point number 7, set up, or rather use appropriate structure. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, are you buying the property in your personal name? Are you using a private company? Are you using a trust? Is it a joint venture partnership, etc., etc.? There are many structures that you can use. So use the proper structure, the structure that you want. Some people, each structure has got its advantages and disadvantages. So there are pros and cons for each one. So you need to be aware of that so that you know, are you going to buy it in your name, or rather use a private company, or you're going to go into a trust. So you need to understand how these things work and use the appropriate structure. Actually, we can have a full episode just talking about the structuring of the property businesses. But that is for another time. We're going to point number 8. Point number 8 is find your finances. Okay, find your finances. So in other words, this is where you first, but before first, you've got to put an offer to purchase, and then use that document. You take it to apply for a bond or for finances. So put in the offer to purchase. Now, I want to say that offer to purchase, there's a lot of issues around that. And like I said, we can spend the whole episode talking about the offer to purchase. But what I can say today, please read every word on that document. Because remember, you're going to be bound by it for 20 years. It's going to determine your cash flows and everything. So read every word. Don't just get excited about the property. You are getting it and then you sign it and then off it go, only to discover that there are certain clauses in the offer to purchase that are giving you a disadvantage. So read every word and understand every word before you put in your signature on the document. Because remember, the offer to purchase translates into your contract. So your offer to purchase is not just an offer, it's actually the contract. But once it's accepted, then it becomes a contract. So please read it properly, understand it before you sign. Also, in terms of looking for your finance, I say probably you're looking for a loan, for a bond. Some of you are looking from your family members to contribute to the project. There are various ways of raising your finance. But I can say one thing. Having a job gives you an advantage when it comes to property investment, because loans are given to people. Rather, loans are likely to be given to someone with a job. If you don't have a job, how are you going to pay? And now you're going to explain the loan officer, no, when I've got this property, I'm going to put in a tenant and the tenant is going to give me rent, then I'll pay you. Now my question as a loan officer is, what about if the tenant leaves? Who is going to pay? So having a job gives you an advantage. They are likely to give you money or more money as a loan for property investment. So don't leave your job. Most of the time, I get people coming to me and say, I've lost my job. I want to get into property. It's too late. You get into property business when you still have an income, because property business is a long-term business. It's a capital-intensive business. It needs money. It needs a lot of finances. So if you've got a job, you can access funding for your project. Also, on the same note of finances, please don't forget to keep your credit record. It's very important, because the loan officers, when they got an application for finance, they're going to look at you, the risk around you. If you've got a history of not paying back people, they are likely not to accept your application. They will decline it because your credit record is bad. So when it comes to property, pay up. Pay up quick. And then you're going to have a clean record. When you've got a clean record, you access finance. So there's no way about it. This week, someone was sending me a message and say, no, my credit record is bad. I've been declined at the bank. What can I do? And I say, you cannot do anything. You have to clean up your credit record. And how do you do that? By paying up on time every month. After 24 months, you're going to see your record is going to be clean, and then you can go into property business and apply your finances. So for today, we'll end here because there's a lot of issues to cover. So thank you guys for watching for this episode, and also let's connect. If you like this episode, please just click like. If you possible, please subscribe to the channel, share the episode, share with your friends, because remember, this is business. This is perhaps what your friend is looking for. So please share these episodes. Until next time, have a great day. Thank you.